Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Balaton Park for the very first time in MotoGP history, and welcome to Hungary, the first Hungarian Grand Prix in 33 years since we were last here at the Hungaroring in 1992. It is great to be back in Hungary at this pretty unique, pretty interesting venue, which certainly is going to throw up some challenges this weekend, and I think a real mixed bag of results as well. It's great to be back, but wherever we go around the world at the moment, it seems that there is only one constant in MotoGP, and that is Marc Marquez topping sessions. Once again, the number 93, fastest this morning, a quarter of a second quicker than Pol Espargaro. Great result by him, stepping in for the injured Maverick Vinales. Of course, Pol does have some prior knowledge of a MotoGP machine around this venue when there was a test ahead of us coming here around 6 weeks ago. So Pol putting all of that experience and knowledge to good use this morning. He was just clear of KTM counterpart Pedro Acosta, who I have to say, I'm going to make a bold prediction on Friday morning. I think we could be in for a good weekend for Pedro Acosta. This circuit should just suit his riding style, the characteristics of the KTM. I think we're going to see the number 37, the Shark, firing at the front in both the sprint and the Grand Prix tomorrow. But the big challenge, the big question, as we pose every weekend it seems at the moment, is who and how do you beat the number 93 Marc Marquez? 6 victories in a row, the first time he's done that since 2014, looking to make it 7 victories in a row later on this weekend. Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock, the first Hungarian Grand Prix in 33 years. Make sure you mark your card, get your phone out, set a reminder so you don't miss that. Right, welcome to Inside the Paddock. Jack Appleyard here, and to kick things off, we're going to tell you about an initiative that MotoGP have got involved in, a great initiative as well, called the Good Max campaign. Now, Max is an 11-year-old boy from Barcelona who unfortunately last year was diagnosed with a brain tumour. Now, I'm going to need, in fact, Sophia, just hold that. Thank you. He is not only a fan of Mad Max, the films, but a huge motorcycling fan as well. So to try and create some awareness, to try and create some funding for children's cancer and for kids under the age of 12 that unfortunately have been diagnosed with cancer, he's trying to get the Good Max campaign going. And to do that, these brilliant glasses, who I think you'd have to say I'm pulling off magnificently. Now, if you want to get involved in trying to support the Good Max campaign, you can go to MotoGP.com and check it out. Any kind of support towards it will put you in with a chance of winning a grid experience at the Catalan Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. So not only can you support a great cause and some children that are so desperately in need, but also you can be in with a chance, as I say, of getting a money can't buy grid experience at the Catalan Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. So head to MotoGP.com, have a search for the Good Max campaign on Google, and you can find all the information there. So we're looking forward to seeing Max when he comes to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalonia in a couple of weeks' time, and maybe should we get him as a special guest on Inside the Paddock? I think we should. We'll chat to him. I'm going to make sure that we see him in the paddock. Right, there we go. Are we keeping the glasses on? Let's keep them on for now. See if we can get some of our riders, some of our people to try them on and style them out as well. Oh, careful. Some stairs there. It's quite a tight paddock here. Because this is an interesting, a fascinating Inside the Paddock, because it gives us the opportunity to chat to the riders for the very first time after their very first laps around this Balaton Park circuit. 17 corners, 10 of them going to the left. It is another anti-clockwise circuit to add to the calendar, and of course Marc Marquez's record around anti-clockwise circuits speaks for itself, so everyone is expecting that we will see the number 93 being pretty quick this weekend. But of course Pedro Acosta as well has got a decent record around anti-clockwise circuits, so it could be a real ding-dong battle between the pair of them this morning. In fact, I'm going to take these off just for a moment because they're starting to itch my head, and then I'll see if I can find some riders to maybe try them on. Hopefully Pedro, one of them, after his great start to the weekend. Some news to bring you then. Let's have a think of what we can tell you about. Firstly, down at Honda, with regards to rider market news, it does look as though that their 2026 lineup is now all but confirmed. Joan Mir and Luca Marini in the factory team And it looks as though Honda and Alberto Puig in particular has managed to beat Yamaha to the signature of Diogo Moreira, the Brazilian. Will be moving up to MotoGP next year. He did confirm he had 2 offers on the table, one from Honda, one from Yamaha, and it does seem as though he's decided to opt for a move to join Johann Zarco in the LCR Honda squad for 2026. So that poses the huge question of who will be the partner for Toprak Razgatlioglu down at Prima Pramac Yamaha next year. Despite rumours over the summer that potentially Alex Rins, after some frustrating, disappointing performances in the first half of the year, Yamaha have reiterated their faith and their confidence in him. It looks as though he will be staying in the factory squad with Fabio Quartararo, but as time goes on, it looks as though Miguel Oliveira and even Jack Miller's time in the MotoGP paddock could well be numbered. It was obvious that Yamaha's number 1 target was Diogo Moreira. They've missed out on him, which wasn't a positive sign for either of the current incumbents of that Prima Pramac Yamaha. See, there's now talk that there's an offer on the table for current World Championship, Moto2 World Championship leader Manu Gonzalez. So it does look as though Paolo Pavesio, who I did chat to during that opening session of the weekend, is quite keen on having a young upstart, some fresh blood added to the Iwata factory in 2026. And Miller himself yesterday said that he's running out of time, he's running out of patience. He's got offers on the table to move to World Superbikes next year, but obviously those guys are going to need answers as soon as possible. So if Jack is to stay in MotoGP, which he has reiterated time and time again is his priority, then BMW, who we know is one of the options, have to go and find a replacement if it isn't to be Jack, which is why he said yesterday, I'm running out of patience with Yamaha. He wants to know, do you want me, do you not? And then we can just move on. But despite putting that to Paolo Pavesio, he said that's not the case. We have a very open, a very transparent relationship. He knows exactly where he stands, which kind of contradicts what Jack said yesterday. We are going to get the chance to speak with Jack later on today after the end of the session to find out his side of the story and put those quotes from Paolo Pavesio to him. And we'll have to see whether Jack remains on the grids next year. It does look as though Yamaha, given how strong they were in trying to get Diogo Moreira, now the fact that they put an offer on the table for yet another Moto2 rookie, seems to me as though Jack Miller, well, he's not plan B, he's plan C at the moment, which obviously isn't great news for Jack, which surprises me as well. It's a huge risk for Yamaha, the fact that all roads are leading towards them opting for the V4 engine for the very first time next year. Jack has got V4 experience with Ducati, V4 experience with KTM. You feel he could play a vital role in what is going to be a huge year of change and a pretty important year for Yamaha as well, as they try and convince Fabio Quartararo to stick around for 2027 and to go into that with Fabio and Alex and then 2 rookies in the satellite team. It's a massive risk. And Paolo did admit that there are pros and cons to each decision. They're weighing up which decision to make. But yeah, for me, right now, I think if I was in Paolo's position, maybe the safer option is the best option. And sticking with Jack and trying to tap into all of that knowledge could have more use than trying to poach a Moto2 rookie in the form of Manu Gonzalez. But that will certainly be played out, you feel, this weekend. They need to come up with a solution very quick indeed, and I'm sure by the time we're next with you at the Catalan Grand Prix, we'll have an understanding of which way Yamaha are deciding to go. Down at Honda, we mentioned them earlier with regards to Diogo Moreira. Also some tech updates for them today. Luca Marini with a brand new chassis, quite radically different new chassis, and he put it to great use. Marini 4th on the timesheets, was looking pretty good this morning. So clearly that new chassis has definitely done its bit and has helped Luca to find a little bit more pace and a little bit more speed as we, barge people out of the way. Sorry guys, apologies for that. I think they're all enjoying a paddock tour at the moment. I'm just going to listen in and see what we're talking about. Here we go, we're just detailing our VIP guests here, everything that's going on down at VR46, fabulous. Let's see, when eventually they decide that my time is up doing this, I think I could get a second job there, telling these wonderful people, our wonderful VIP guests, all about MotoGP. You see, there we go, at least I've got a career path going into the future when the big bosses finally decide that I'm robbing a living by just walking around talking absolute nonsense. Where else were we? Pekka Bagnaia. after the Austrian Grand Prix, a place where he'd won 3 in a row. He said that he's running out of patience with Ducati. He backtracked that ever so slightly yesterday, saying that sometimes in the heat of the moment, with frustration as high as it has been all year, he can say things that he later regrets. But you can understand his frustration. Had won 3 consecutive Austrian Grand Prix and then slumped to 8th, 12 seconds slower than what he was able to do 12 months prior. Marc Marquez's race-winning time yesterday, the full duration of the Grand Prix, was pretty much identical to what Bagnaia had done 12 months earlier. So the fact that he's clearly slower this year is frustrating for Bagnaia. There's no point getting around that. And it didn't really get off to the best of starts this morning here as well. Outside of the top 15 was Bagnaia, was trying some radical new settings on the front end of that bike, changing front fork springs during the session, just to try and get some kind of front feeling back, which we felt he'd made inroads after the Aragon test. He obviously had a positive Aragon Grand Prix where he felt that that feeling was coming back, but since then it feels as though he's just dipped to a new low for Bagnaia. So frustration for him. Let's see whether he was able to find some answers this morning. Down here at Aprilia, well, it was an action-packed start to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Quickly though, before we talk about that, I like the finer details, the small touches in MotoGP. This is Marco Bezzecchi's scooter that he gets around the paddock on. Just look at this. Nice little bit of fur that they add to the back of the Aprilia scooter, just to make Bez feel at home. He has this on the back of his hump on his leather suit as well. So there we go. If you're ever, as we go throughout the year, starting to feel a little bit cold, maybe at Phillip Island, I can come and snuggle up to Bez's scooter. It's one of the millions and millions of Balaton midges tries to attack me there. Those of you that have been to Balaton and the lake before will be well aware, but I was playing football last night and I have never seen more sort of mosquito-like fly-type beings in all of my life. Luckily, they weren't mosquitoes because they weren't biting us, but just millions of flies. I can't believe how many there are around here. Obviously, we're close to a pretty large body of water, the largest lake in Europe, I've been reliably informed, but as soon as the sun goes down, dearie me, you can't even go outside, there's that many flies. It's quite something. So yeah, certainly one of the unique challenges that our return to Hungary is providing for us. So we're trying to tackle them on an evening, and so far so good, getting used to it as we head down towards the Honda direction. Oh yes, what we were going to tell you on Aprilia. Big engine blow up for Ralph Hernandez. Before that, a technical problem. Paolo Bonora didn't want to say it was an engine blow-up, but certainly a pretty terminal issue for Jorge Martin, all in the space of 2 seconds, which did lead to the session being red flagged. Bonora feeling that potentially that crash as a result, it was the engine that was in Jorge Martin's machine when he crashed in the sprint just 6 days ago at the Red Bull Ring, and potentially there were some issues there that in all of the post-crash checks they hadn't spotted. And I have to say, this is probably my most unlucky inside the paddock for quite some time. There's just nobody around, is there? I've just seen Marco Bezzecchi bob into the garage. He's a million miles away. Let's just see if he's going to hang around. Let's see if we can say hello to Bez. He's just grabbed a big box of pasta, I think, and he's already gone into the garage. You see, because it's a brand new circuit, these guys will be doing debriefs and analysis with the team for a much longer duration than they would anywhere else, because there are so many things to dial in, whether it be gear ratios, whether it be the right suspension setup. There are so many things that they have to nail in the opening session, and that's why a lot of the riders will have either at the end of the session dived straight into their offices, which you can see are up here, got changed and gone back into the box, and will be spending a good amount of time there to try and make sure that the bikes are ready to go for a vitally important practice session later on this afternoon. Of course, they've only done 22 laps this morning. They'll probably get a further 10 or 15 during the opening half an hour of the practice session, and then suddenly, having done definitely less than 40 laps around this place, they're then asked in the final 20 minutes of practice to go into time attack mode and give it absolutely everything to try and make sure they're inside the top 10. It is not an easy life as a MotoGP rider, especially when we come to new venues like this. So don't think we're going to get much luck here. So as a result, all you've got on Inside the Paddock for today and for this weekend, because it's Moto E tomorrow, is just 15 minutes of me talking. Apologies for that one. I'll try do better in Barcelona in a few weeks' time as our cameraman chuckles away and his shoulders go up and down, causing a little bit of vibration. That to me is a sign of a good joke. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. First time we're here in Hungary in 33 years, and I think we're going to be treated to a real special race on Sunday. Marquez versus the KTMs versus the Aprilias. They're getting closer. Can they finally topple him this weekend? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in Barcelona.